Welcome to episode 8 of our NAP podcast. And guess what, guys? The teams going to Masters 1 are locked in, but the Russian and Ukrainian teams are locked out. So first we're going to talk about the ongoing conflict, just assuming you took our advice last episode and actually touched some grass and maybe checked the news. Let's talk about the conflict going around in Russia and Ukraine and how that affects esports players, especially in Valorant. So Adam?
First thing I'm going to start off with is the unfortunate events that are happening with FunPlus Phoenix. As we were saying, they were one of the top favorites going into the tournament. They actually managed to win the entire VCT EU Challenger Series. However, because of what the Riot says as visa issues, they will be unable to participate at Iceland, and instead, Team Liquid will be called up to take their place. So, Joy, one of the things I want to talk to you about was should Team Liquid be allowed to participate? Because we know that during, I think it was Berlin, one of the Asian teams could not make it, and there were no replacements. And so people are now calling these double standards for the bigger regions of Europe. So what are your opinions on how Riot has dealt with this situation?
I think they definitely should, and I think Riot has always had problems with double standards. But I think in the first game where the Asian team was unable to make it, they definitely should have let another team stand in instead of holding them out. I think Team Liquid, well, they don't deserve to be there, but that's what happens if a team is disqualified, the next are called up. So I think what Riot has done is they're going to give FPX the necessary circuit points, because VCT is based off a circuit. And Team Liquid will only earn the circuit points depending on how they place in the tournament itself.
One question that I think definitely came up for me was why weren't they allowed to participate online, right? Because the only one that would be disadvantaged here would be FPX.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they would complain too much. I think you would much rather play than not be able to participate in the event at all. But obviously Riot has made their decisions and it is what it is. So on to the next topic. Another player that has been affected by the Russian-Ukrainian conflict is Fnatic's Brave AF.
Brave.
There were some tweets that were, I think text messages that were leaked, about him supporting Russia. Now he's suspended. He since then made a statement saying that he sent those texts before any public news about what was going on in Ukraine has been made in Russia. So what are your feelings on this coming forward?
It's a hard decision to make because you understand that Russia has extreme control over the media and what their population knows. And on the other hand, for us, we view it with our lens that citizens have complete access to everything on the internet and all the news. But I don't think your average Russian citizen does. And so regardless of whether Brave AF's decision was, controversial, it's just he lives in an environment. If the environment forces him to do something, generally people will do that one thing. And in this case, it's to be a Russian citizen and support Russia's decision. So I don't think you can't fault him for it, but you can only hope to maybe educate him and then hope for change. And I think that's hopefully what Fnatic are going to try to do with their Brave AF, especially because he's a pretty core part to their roster. And through their run in VCT Challengers, he's actually been supporting Crazy, especially with his role on Initiator. So I think he's a good fit for the team Valorant-wise, and I just hope he and Fnatic figure out this situation.
Yeah, I think another thing is I'm pretty sure he couldn't have made it even.
Yeah, visa.
The visa issues, right? That's why I think Fnatic made the decision to put him on the bench so early, right? There was no investigation, no nothing. I think it was only a day after that they announced he was suspended. So it's really unfortunate situations, but yeah, it is what it is. So heading into the NA scenes, Optic and the guards are now currently locked in for VCT playoffs. But I think what I wanted to talk about especially was these new stars that we're seeing that are show up, right? Saya player from the guard, and Trent has been these two superstars for the team that has managed to bring them up to a tier 1 organization now. Dominating on everyone. So what are your opinions on these new untapped potentials, right? We I think another one that really stood out was Cryocells.
Yeah,
He's been really
exit.
performing on Xset, yeah. But then we learned about how 100 Thieves pass up opportunities to have them. Do you think maybe the organization should put a bit more work into finding these new talents? Because it seems, especially among the old teams, right? 100 Thieves, 100 Thieves, Gen G, TSM, we see like the same amount of players being recycled throughout these teams. So do you think it's time to work on our scouting?
So, what's interesting is the Guard, which currently is the number 1 seed for NA because they recently just beat Optic in the Grand Finals 3-2 with a clutch to win the entire series from Side Player 1v3. And what I think is, it's not really the players at a certain point, it's actually your management and coaching. Because Side Player, like all these players, they're not technically unheard of. They've all been on teams before and were simply just not as performing as they are right now. For example, Side Player used to be on T1 under the name Spider and used to play Omen. So I think it's actually management that impacts a team's success more than the players themselves, and the amount of like, I guess, the vibes of the team, including like their training schedule and their general strategies. Like these things matter more than just the individual skill of a player. And I think Sentinels in the beginning saw extreme success because all 5 of their players were really gifted at the game. But recently, you see that strategies and set executions are starting to like take over the meta, and kind of this like reactive like solo play isn't working out so much. And so instead of like investing extreme resources into looking for new players, I think a proper development team and management is more important for a team success.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we see with 100 Thieves, right? Bringing in Shangers and DDK that we talked about on episode 6.
Yeah.
Speaking of them, actually, we now hear they're trying to bring in Derek
Yep.
from Rise and Wardell from TSM.
Yep.
Do you think having Wardell and Derek is going to be the two key pieces that fix 100 Thieves' problems?
So they always had a struggle with Jet because Asuna doesn't really feel comfortable playing Jet, and he's an okay opper, but he's not great as a dedicated opper. I think Wardell might just be that especially you saw Asuna try to play Chamber as well when they got 13-0 by the Guard. So I think with Wardell, he actually fits the team really well because he is like when you think of opping, you think of like CS:GO, you think of Kenny S, but Valorant you think of Wardell because that's basically all he does. And so with him as Jet and Chamber, I think he's actually going to be the missing little piece to the team. And then it also frees up Asuna from playing that so important Jet role, and he's able to now flex to Initiator along with, I think, paired with Derek Sova. And that also frees up Hiko to get off Sova and play Sentinel, with Ethan most likely going to remain on controller. And so I think this new iteration of the 100 Thieves comp is a lot better than the last one, and it feels like it fits the roles more. Instead of the team struggling to play the necessary roles, I think they're actually now able to play the roles that they want to and the roles that they feel most comfortable, especially because Derek mains Sova and Wardell mains op agents such as Jet and Chamber, which is exactly what 100 Thieves need.
Yeah, but I think another issue that has come up now with 100 Thieves is we heard about the dropping of JC Standing.
Yeah.
He was really carrying 100 Thieves throughout the close qualifier. But the fact that they only dropped him means presumably they're not going to keep Bang.
Bang, yeah.
But now the question comes up, so if Derek replaces JC Standing, who's Wardell going to replace, right? Because if you take out Asuna, which I doubt they will, that one's very unlikely. So it's looking to be Hiko that's getting replaced.
They're both Sova players,
Yeah,
so.
but like the main issue that I'm having now is who's gonna IGL, right?
Yeah.
Where you have a team where almost everyone is young and experienced, right? Most people are looking at Hiko as that experienced veteran that would lead these young stars. But now, how do you think the roles are gonna change as?
I think since their old IGL left the Steel, or war was kicked off, but I think their IGL currently, and I think will remain, is actually Ethan, because Ethan was that role. I don't think Hiko said on stream he doesn't feel comfortable IGLing, and the rest of the guys are either young or new to the team. So I think Ethan will remain as the in-game leader. And as a smoke character, I think it makes sense because most controller players are IGLs. If you look at Xset Def or Cloud9 Vanity.
Cloud9, yeah, and then you also have version 1 Xander, who's
Yeah.
another one for IGL.
Like and Valen for the guard. So yeah, the controller player almost always is the IGL because I guess they're most relevant to all areas of the map. So I think Ethan will be the IGL, and I think they should be fine.
Yeah. Another team that's been making changes is TSM.
Yeah.
We talked about Wardell going to 100 Thieves, but TSM dropping Wardell was probably a really big shock to everyone. We heard that Wardell didn't want to move to Texas because of family issues.
Yeah.
And so now I think they're trialing GMD. How are your thoughts about these new changes? Is it really like, do you think TSM should have disregarded Wardell's unwillingness to move to Texas? Or do you think, because is there really a good replacement for him?
I think Wardell was definitely a key part to the TSM roster. And I don't know if pulling in Gen G GMD is going to fix their woes. Like TSM has seen so many struggles throughout the years, and their core has always been Sub Rosa and Wardell. Now that one of the key pillars of the team is gone, I don't know how Sub Rosa how long he will last in a team of completely new people. Because something tells me that him and Wardell were extremely close, and without Wardell, he has no desire to, or not no desire, but I assume he has a lot less of like a bond to the original roster because there is no original roster, it's just him.
Yeah.
So it's just him, there's no extra team. I don't really know how Sabrosa's gonna do on this team. I feel like he's actually grown so much as a, I guess, Valorant personality. His streams pull massive numbers and his clips are always at the top of Jarso's daily clips. And so I feel like a lot of pro players, if they don't find extreme success or like what they view as success in the Valorant comp community or VCT bracket, I think they can actually just become a content creator. Or speaking of content creators, Prod is part of the guard now, and it's crazy that 3 months ago or maybe 4 months ago, Prod was a nobody, but ever since he joined like a little bit of Sinatra's streams and Sinatra was clipping his like frantic gaming, like he's actually grown, and then now he's signed to the guard as their first content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah, as a wrap up, let's put in our predictions for the VCT Reykjavik. Who do you think's gonna perform well, first of all?
I think Fnatic will perform well. Their executes look so nice, and they don't have like the firepower that maybe the guard does. But Durka's a monster, and I feel like the rest of their team, they make up for that with extreme like precise spacing. Like their map awareness and all of their strategic executes are so nice to watch.
Yeah, it's also gonna matter how well their stand-in's gonna gel with the main team, right? We talk about EU having this really big team-based gameplay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you replace someone on Sentinels, you're not going to see that much of a change because they just run in and trade everyone out. But having someone like Brave AF who is on Initiators helping Durkee entry, it's going to be a really important role, and I look forward to seeing how they're going to fix and fill that in.
But my prediction to who wins it all, I think the finals will be the guard and Loud Gaming in an epic 3-2 victory where Saya player, just like the VCT challengers, clutches a 1v3 to win it all, and then Saya starts crying on stage.
And there you go. Thank you for
Where's your prediction?
Where's my predictions? I don't have any. Prediction. I'm going with Optic. You know, it's gonna be Optic versus Guard finals, full on NA finals, and I think Ye is gonna turn it up. He's gonna win it all, and yeah. I think that's all for episode 8 of the Not Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.